Hey, Ted from Blue Forest. It's the 1st of May. I'm doing some pruning work today. I'm looking at a black currant right here that I pruned up. I thought I'd share some notes about pruning currants and propagating them by layering. So this was a planting from several years ago, 8-9 years ago. I've already pruned it up. But what you're looking for, you can see where I've cut, in years past, cut there. With the black currants, they're usually fruiting on last year's growth. So you can see this is where it fruited from last summer. It's a little bit darker colored growth. And above it here, this growth is all of last year's. So will all be bearing fruit this season. So we got a lighter colored branch, darker colored. As you follow it down, it gets even darker here. And this is growth from 3 years ago. So 3 years, 2 years, last year's growth. When you're pruning, you're looking to get rid of that older growth, and so that you have a lot of 2 and 3 year wood. Again, it's the 2nd-year-old wood from last season that's going to be bearing fruit. So I've removed a lot on this plant. Right next to it, I'm working on some pruning. So this has got some older growth. We can see this branch here. There's some fruit from last year still. Last year's growth overall is kind of small on this because this is an older piece of wood. As the wood gets older, the new growth is less and less. So we got last year's growth here, 2 years ago, then we're looking at 3 years ago, maybe down to like 4 years ago here. It gets progressively darker. So I'm going to be cutting this whole section out down here and remove that. And what that does is stimulate the plant to send up new shoots. You can see I did a pruning cut here a couple minutes ago, but there's also this stalk from last year coming up. So that's all growth from last year. So that's what we're looking to do, trying to get out some of the old and stimulate new growth. So you want to come through every spring and maybe do that pruning, getting that 3-4 year wood out of there, looking to keep that 2-1 year wood. Another great thing with the currants though is their ability to root from layering. In fact, this plant here was layered from that original plant there. And all I did was lay down, take a branch, and just bent it down all the way to the soil and put that rock on it. And you can see here, there's the remnant of that branch, which has been cut. But it was just laid down and rooted right into that ground. Kept the rock on there to hold it down. Take the rock off now. You can see all sorts of happy little roots down there. But you can just keep repeating that process forever. So I let that one get established for a season. And I just did the same thing right over here. So I took another limb, lowered it down, rooted there, and rooted there. And it's trying to root over here too. I'll pin this section down. And my goal here is just to encircle this apple tree. It's a Honeycrisp with this ring of black currants, and I can just do it in no rush with this particular area. So I'll just do it by layering one season at a time, and in a couple more years I will have it wrapped up with black currants. The other thing I'm going to be doing with the currant cuttings, so I've got a pile of them over here that I'm pruning out. I use my prunings to propagate new plants. So once I'm done pruning up my bushes, I'll come in here to my cuttings take my pruners. I will make a cut. You can probably cut this in half once again. But then I have a nursery bed, or you could just find a piece of ground and stick it right in there. Ideally, you put it down as deep as you can go. Sometimes with the fresh growth, it's a little bit softer, so it helps to punch a hole maybe with a firm stick. You can also do it with some of the older wood too, which is harder and easier to push into the ground. But almost inevitably, that shoot will root where you put it and form a new currant bush. So pretty amazing plant. Not gonna leave this one here. Yeah, black currants. Great to be growing. Great to be propagating with. All right, I'm gonna get back to my pruning. We got a lot going on here. We got some new white ducks hanging out. Some Pekings. They're enjoying their little pond back there. It's pretty full. A lot of water right now. Oh, there's a swale that's filling up too. They like to play around in there. There's some more over there hanging out. All right. Happy spring, everyone.